Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, soft plastics, and I talk about them all the time, but you go into any store, and a big part of the fishing display of the lures that are available for us to buy are soft plastic tails of one kind or another. They're anything from worms to little grubs to minnow imitators. And there's something that I want you to be aware of because there's a huge difference, not only in the type of plastic used, whether they're soft or hard or whatever, but in the shape of their tails. And I want to use this report to talk more about the tails because the type of tail that you see on the end of these baits can determine just how the bait looks in the water. A paddle tail has become my favorite. But the paddle tails are on minnow imitators. And what that does is, depending on the shape of the paddle and depending on how thin the bait tapers down before the tail is put on or molded, will determine just how much kick you'll get from that tail. And what it does is when that lure is going through the water, it has a wobbling tail kicking motion. Now, how many minnows and fish in real life swim that way? Not very many. It's not the natural way of life. But what it does is it allows that bait to stand out, and it often gets so many more strikes. Now, if you're using a soft plastic that is sort of big where you put your hook in, but then it tapers down to a narrow tail, these baits often give a complete different look in the water, but there's times where that look is more effective. And what most of these baits are called, if you're a fisherman, you've heard this name, if you aren't, but they're called flukes, Flukes, if we're talking plural. And these flukes will tend to allow you, as you reel them in, you have to move your rod. As you reel in, you move the rod, jerk the rod, and every time you jerk the rod, it causes them to dart from side to side. So you have a very erratic type of swimming action that, again, can trigger strikes when other type of baits don't. So, and there's variations of all this. There's split tails that do different things. But the main thing for you to remember is you look for your soft plastic tails that you're going to create lures with, you have to figure, how do you want that to look when you present it to the fish? And again, I love paddle tails. You can take the same shaped bait, but the paddle tail, for me, has proven to be the most successful. Therefore, I fish it more, I like it more, and I catch a lot of fish with these baits. I love soft plastic baits because they allow us, the fishermen, to determine what our representation looks like. When you're using a crankbait, you're pretty much depending on the balance and the type of action built in by the shape of the bait and the lip. But this is different when you're using soft plastics. So keep that in mind the next time you select your baits, and my gosh, there's a myriad of choices. It can become mind-blowing when you take in different shapes, different lengths, and then different colors. Wow. But it can become real fun, especially this time of the year with cabin fever. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.